Good afternoon, it's Lee Cassidy from Tactile Technology, and we're going to do a few little videos over the next week or so just to introduce you to the speakers we've got for our 21st of April session. So what I've got is Ross Cooper-Smith from Tintree along to talk a little bit about what he's going to cover, but also tell us a little bit about himself as well, so you've got a bit of advanced knowledge. Right, how are you doing then, Ross?
I'm doing well, thanks, Lee. Nice to meet you again.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about your past, what you've been up to and things, just to give people a bit of background about Ross Cooper-Smith and his experience in technology.
Sure. So as you know, Lee, I'm one of the principal engineers here at Tintree in the enterprise sales engineering team. I've been specialized in storage for, I think, about 8 years now, 8-9 years. Prior to that, I was a systems administrator, so managing kind of diverse estates, Windows, Linux, storage, a little bit of programming, a little bit of scripting, user support, the classic kind of IT, responsible for everything.
So much these days. The other end, the operational end as well, then.
Yeah, absolutely.
The implementation side.
Yeah, I've been fortunate enough to work at the end user side, implementing networks. I've worked within resellers, worked within the channel. It's been a fascinating journey getting here.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about your session and why you think it fits well with the subject we're talking about, which is digital transformation.
Well, my session in a couple of weeks' time is all around intelligent infrastructure, really focusing on one of our 2 product lines, and the tagline is scalable, high-performance, multi-protocol storage for SAN and NAS workloads, which doesn't sound particularly exciting for digital transformation. The reason really I think IntelliFlash and that concept is relevant is one of the core elements you need for this digital transformation project, a successful one, is you need time within the team. You need the time to drive the project, the time to understand the business needs, and really that is what Tintree delivers in spades. It's freeing up time, managing complex storage systems, managing lots of different storage systems, and being able to consolidate down to one simple, intelligent, easy-to-use solution that can deliver best-in-class storage for many different requirements. Because most projects these days and most IT teams have got a very diverse estate, lots of different needs, whether it's virtualization, whether it's containers, VDI, databases, cloud services, object services. There's lots of different moving parts, lots of different elements. Being able to standardize and have one piece of infrastructure to deliver against all of those needs frees up the time you need to focus on the higher level tasks that are just critical with digital transformation.
One thing I'd think about this as well is with digital transformation, you're looking at a very much more agile development platform and process, so that actually be able to replicate data in for testing and things is going to be really important. But also the availability of the environment is really important as well, because if you're moving over from some level of manual activity and telephone and other types of communication with customers to a completely digital one, you need to make sure, one, that the performance is there so that the end users get a good experience, but also the availability is there as well, because you don't want a situation where they can't get in and raise an order if it's some kind of retail type platform, or raise a query if it's something else. So I think that's going to be quite important, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the availability in IntelliFlash, and in fact all the Tintree solutions, as you know, they're enterprise grade solutions. So we're talking minimum 5 nines availability. We've got the ability to use replication, synchronous replication, tools like that to deliver true 24/7 guaranteed uptime across multiple sites, depending on the needs of the project. We've got clients that have done successful projects with just a single data center, single solution. We've got clients with data centers all across the world. So there's lots of different scales, lots of different requirements. And you mentioned performance, and absolutely, end user experience really is the key. You need the performance on the back end, but what people really see is they see the applications, whether this is your clients, whether this is the internal team, whatever the goal, whatever the driver is for that digital transformation project, it's got to be responsive, particularly in this day and age where we're used to smartphones, we're used to apps, we're used to cloud services. People are less patient than they used to be. Someone is going to sit around these days waiting 5 minutes while the adverts are on the telly. They expect it now. So your infrastructure has to keep pace with that.
I
modern
agree.
world.
I agree. Yeah, it's really going to be important to people. And we looked at some of the stats around digital transformation, and PwC did a survey recently, and they surveyed a large number of CEOs across the UK, and 88% of them believe that's the area that majority of their investment in both time and money is going to be in digital transformation.
Mm-hmm.
And they say that also the previous work they've done in digital transformation made the biggest impact, especially over the last 12 months, to try and keep their business afloat in a time that was very difficult through the pandemic. So a lot of things that we're talking about are really key to a lot of CEOs and their businesses at the moment.
Absolutely, and it's worth reflecting. Actually, digital transformation can mean a variety of different things. It can be an internal project, improving efficiencies and streamlining processes. It can be, as we saw throughout 2020, actually changing the way we work, switching to a more online, flexible, remote working environment. They're both examples of digital transformation. Very, very different needs, very different goals, different skills within the teams. But regardless of these, in a modern estate, you're going to be needing storage at some point in that project.
Very true. So every piece of infrastructure relies on some kind of storage, for whether it's just the operating system and the application that's running, or the actual data or database that's required for that application. So there's a lot of it, and I think we're utilizing storage a lot more these days with things like video and images and things, and which are commonly being a part of the process. And if you look at a lot of things that people are doing around this digital transformation, they're incorporating video and still images into that, whatever type of business they operate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and as well as that, one of the trends that kind of ties into that is we're seeing lots of different types of use case these days. So yes, there's video, there's media, there's classic workloads, there's databases, there's file, there's online. It's very common these days. I'm seeing more and more often a project is not just a single purpose. When the business is making an investment in infrastructure, in a solution, they're expecting to get more value from that. They're expecting to deliver multiple different systems, multiple different use cases. And we've seen some good savings. And we've seen some genuine 5-6-figure savings from consolidating several projects down to one. We saw a trend in 2020, obviously with COVID, a lot of people working remotely. We saw a big influx of customers wanting to run remote desktops, virtual desktops. They didn't have a VDI project. They'd not stood up a budget for this. They'd not planned an infrastructure growth. They had to make do with what they had. One of the interesting outcomes of that is we've seen many, many successful projects of VDI, that massive transformation of working remotely, successfully delivered on existing storage infrastructure. It's proven the point that the performance is there with a modern all-flash NVMe storage array, modern networking, whether that's 10 gig or 25 gig, even 40 or 100 in some of the larger clients. The performance is there to deliver multiple different use cases, multiple workloads from the same system. And again, that delivers benefits in terms of the budget and initial spend for running the project. It delivers benefits in time, because the team aren't having to learn lots of different storage systems and stand up different systems and learn different infrastructures, learn different techniques. The more you can consolidate and simplify the estate and take away the mental effort of that day-to-day maintenance, the more time you free up to focus on the project.
Things will be the analytical side of things as well. I know that you're very strong in that area, and understanding the growth, organic growth of a system over time to actually understand what capacity you need is a lot better than the old finger in the air guesswork that we used to do with capacity planning for storage. I think in this world of digital transformation, I think that's going to be really critical, understanding what you're getting performance, but also understanding the capacity you utilize and how that changes over time as well. And it will change. It can go down as well as up, because as people say, offload, certain workloads into public cloud, they'll be able to see what they've freed up and understand how they can grow into that space as well, which I think is going to be quite important.
Yeah, absolutely. So the IntelliCare product with all the monitoring is really core to that. You've got the real-time monitoring, which is great for troubleshooting and for day-to-day operations. And also when you're sizing and building out a new workload, one of the unknowns is quite often, If this is a new project and you're digitizing a new workflow, a new workload for the first time, you don't necessarily know upfront what infrastructure you're going to be needing. So having that ability to monitor, I'm going to talk storage terms because we're a storage manufacturer, whether that's at the LUN level or the share level, you've got that in real time as well as the historical data. We've also got monitoring at the VM level. And Tintri, still to the best of my knowledge, is the only storage manufacturer that with native real-time performance monitoring that goes down to the VM level. So you can roll out new projects, you can roll out new VMs, you can see exactly the impact that's having. If the software team, if you've got a software team engaged or a third party, and they're rolling out updates or changes, you can see the performance impact those changes have. And you've got the real-time data for troubleshooting, and you've got the trends. As you say, it's important to know for planning over time. Are your performance needs increasing? Are they dropping? Do you need to invest in higher performance storage? Can you save money and go to lower performance storage?
That's it.
Having that trend data is as important as having the real time.
So any last thing you want to tell the people out there who might be thinking about going on your session, because we have got 3 or 4 different sessions running in parallel. So what we want to do is sell the idea of going and seeing Ross Cooper Smith and his session. So what do you think people will take away from the session if they come along and watch yours?
I think they'll take away some interesting aspects. Pretty much everyone who I talk to, there's something about IntelliFlash that's going to surprise you. This is, yes, it's a storage solution, but in many ways, it's very different. The way storage is managed today, the way it needs to be managed has changed dramatically. There's an awful lot less day-to-day management, an awful lot more general purpose, almost self-managing within the infrastructure to take that time, take that workload away. I think it might surprise people how simple storage can be.
Yeah. Let's just remind everybody what you're covering. So you're going through the idea of intelligent infrastructure. So you've got scalable, high performance, multi-protocol storage, both SAN and NAS workloads, because we tend to have a mixture nowadays of between file and block type storage. And going forward, containers, that's a similar mix you're going to have as well. But the only difference is you're going to access it in a slightly different way through the container environment, but very similar. Well, thanks ever so much for your time today. I look forward to your session. I've still got to work out which I'm going to watch, but I've not seen everybody's pitch so far, so we'll see where they are. So thanks ever so much for joining me today, and I shall catch up with you on the 21st.
Thanks, Lee. Yeah, and if anyone's interested, 21st, 3:30 p.m. That's when the session's running. Thanks a lot. Bye. Well, so don't forget, join us on the 21st of April. It starts at 1 o'clock and runs through till about 5:15 when we've got the closing statements and things. So lots of different keynote speakers. We've got 3 main keynote speakers talking about all areas of digital transformation, and then we've got some breakout sessions that are running in parallel, covering anything from storage with Ross Cooper Smith through to Kubernetes deployment and hybrid cloud type environments as well. So come and join us at that. I'll put the registration link into the bottom of the post after it's gone across with the video later, and hopefully see you all on the 21st of the month and joining our session. Thanks a lot.